and I feel this sort of grief come up out of me, and just like everybody's silent. I think that Gwendolyn is sobbing and Robyn's trying to console her. This grief comes out of me and I wailed, and that's when I think became really aware that this situation has gone down, and it's sort of unreconcilable. I just don't know what to do. I'm lost in, hey friends, thanks for coming back to my channel. After 22 episodes this season, Kody Brown and Robyn have spent every minute trying to rewrite the past, shooting scenes following Garrison's death and pretending they happened beforehand. They attempted to recast Kody as a caring father working to rebuild bonds with his kids, positioning him for a redemption story. But that entire facade collapsed, leaving a moment on the show that was painful, shocking, frustrating, and profoundly sad. I felt deep sympathy for the family members who were closest to Garrison, those who spoke with him daily, who deeply loved him, and who were actively trying to support him. Watching the episode was painful because Garrison had been completely left out all season. His presence was erased. No mention, no acknowledgement. The only reminder came from a final text he sent to Kody, a group from TLC, and a few family members. "I want to hate you for the good times, but I can't. I miss those days." And Kody said nothing in return. He never replied. He never came to the scene. Then, to learn how much involvement he had in the funeral arrangements, how his preferences were considered after abandoning his son, was infuriating. The people who should have had the say were not the one who contributed DNA to create Garrison's life, but those who truly raised him, who showed up, who loved him through both the joyful and painful times. It was beyond disrespectful to give Kody the stage to portray himself as a grieving father. Honestly, I don't know if he even felt grief. So much of what he said came across as hollow and self-centered. At one point by the fire, he told Robyn he wished he had done things differently, that he believed he had more time, and that he needed to change. But over a year later, nothing has changed. In fact, things are worse now. In his final days, Garrison was clearly upset with his father. He reached out, and no one from that side of the family responded. Only Janelle did. Her heartbreak was unmistakable, and I couldn't help but feel frustrated that she was the one forced to carry this burden on camera. Maybe it was easier not to fight with Kody, but if I had been in her shoes, I wouldn't have allowed him to be involved at all. I wouldn't have let him attend the funeral. And finding out they brought Garrison to Wyoming to be buried next to his grandmother at Kody's father's ranch, despite the fact that Janelle and many of the kids had issues with that place, felt deeply wrong. That's not where Garrison lived or built his life. Sure, he may have been born in Wyoming, but that wasn't his home. My emotions were all over the place. I felt heartbroken for the original 3 wives, especially knowing how genuine their grief was. I was furious that Kody was again handed the spotlight, and that TLC seemed to want to sanitize or erase what he had done. It's deeply aggravating. Garrison had been cast aside. Kody wanted him out of the house, labeled him a narcissist, and dismissed him as a jerk. He was completely estranged from Garrison. He once said during a tell-all that he would punch anyone who brought up Robyn. Together, Kody and Robyn had Mykelti call Garrison to tell him they wouldn't be participating in the family's Christmas gift exchange anymore. They were removing themselves from family celebrations, except with their own unit. Garrison was wounded by all this. He shared how Kody had ridiculed him for buying a car and mocked his attempts to become independent. When he got an RV and parked it at Janelle's place, Kody scoffed, claiming Garrison couldn't handle it. Their relationship was destroyed, by both of them, but mostly Kody, who forced him out. In the end, though, Kody still controlled the narrative. That was maddening. The people who loved and supported Garrison, those who stuck with him, should have been the ones to speak for him, not the man who abandoned him. Giving Kody a voice here felt like a slap in the face. He never said a word about the person Garrison was, nothing about his intelligence, his drive, his National Guard service, his compassion, or his work ethic. While everyone else, Gabriel, Janelle, Madison, Christine, spoke from the heart, shared memories, and expressed their grief, Kody said nothing specific about Garrison. No personal reflections, no heartfelt recollections. It was as if he didn't know his own child. His entire focus was how the death impacted him, what he had lost, what regrets he carried. And he still didn't take any accountability. He never acknowledged how he hurt Garrison, how his actions contributed to their estrangement. Even when sitting by the fire, he spoke only in vague regrets, never admitting fault. It's easy to claim you wish you had more time when that time is gone. But it means nothing if you don't change afterward. Watching Gabriel share about Garrison's kindness, his emotional depth, how he made others feel at ease, those were genuine, raw, and powerful moments. Gabriel even said that was what being a true gentleman meant to him, and it felt like a subtle message to Kody, who often bragged about raising gentlemen while belittling his sons for not measuring up. Last week, Janelle even recalled Kody's old claim that their sons weren't acting like gentlemen. Gabriel's statement felt like a pointed reminder that Garrison had already achieved that ideal, despite the lack of guidance or support from Kody. It's heartbreaking to realize that someone so good-hearted, so deeply loved, felt so unworthy that he believed the world would be better without him. His pain, rooted in illness, not choice, was never truly acknowledged by his father. Janelle bravely opened up about how his mental health declined during COVID and how he turned to alcohol. She said they offered him support, love, and help, but nothing seemed to be enough. She, Logan, and Hunter tried to reach out and keep him connected, and there had been similar scary nights before, where he made alarming comments, then disappeared for a while. But this time, it ended differently. Gabriel was the one who found him, and the trauma of that experience is beyond words. Madison talked about how she tried to help Garrison move to North Carolina to escape the toxicity of Flagstaff. Her words carried a quiet guilt, as if she believed that had they succeeded in getting him to move, things might have turned out differently. Christine spoke with immense love at his funeral, reminiscing about his childhood and sharing a quote from a movie about how you can see someone in the stars after they're gone. All of these heartfelt, loving, and specific stories came from those who actually knew him. But again, Kody contributed nothing meaningful. He never acknowledged Garrison's character, his work, his service, or his heart. He just kept focusing on himself. When Janelle mentioned that his decline began during CO, she likely meant COVID, but it felt like code for when the family truly fractured, when Kody started pushing everyone away and blaming them. That was when he called Garrison names, accused him of ruining his marriage, and demanded apologies. That period of isolation wasn't just about a pandemic, it was about emotional abandonment, and alcohol made everything worse, fueling the depression, worsening the anxiety, draining his dopamine. If he hadn't been drinking that night, maybe he would still be here. I believe Janelle knows that, but she may be choosing to protect the narrative out of love or out of concern for her family. It's heartbreaking to think about. Even in his final messages, Garrison expressed anger and sadness over Kody. He was triggered by an old photo that looked recent, realizing those happy times were long gone. His message came from a place of pain. He missed the version of his father who loved him. And that's what broke him. That's what hurt most of all. Robyn's role throughout this was also painful to watch. When Kody spoke about needing to change, to be different, she dismissed him with, "That's what everyone says." Instead of encouraging him to grow or reconnect, she minimized it, as if no change was necessary. And I wonder if Kody had a different voice in his ear. Would he actually try? Because Robyn constantly paints everyone outside her inner circle as enemies. Even at the fire scene, she couldn't bring herself to show genuine emotion. Garrison didn't like her, and she didn't really seem to care about him. It was all so forced. I kept thinking, if Robyn had never joined this family, maybe things wouldn't have ended like this. Maybe the divisions wouldn't be so severe. Maybe Garrison would still be alive. And when Kody talked about bringing Garrison's ashes to Wyoming, again it felt strange. The entire scene felt staged. The snowy ground when Garrison died made it clear this wasn't filmed right after. This was pre-recorded. And as Kody talked about the holidays and birthdays he would miss, it felt deeply hypocritical. He had already been missing those moments for years. They hadn't shared Christmas in years. He didn't even go to the funeral with all his kids. His oldest children didn't even attend. It was all just empty. Hollow. He never truly acknowledged what he did. He never admitted the role he played in all of this. At the end of it, I was disgusted. I was furious. Because even after all this time, even after everything, Kody and Robyn still made it about themselves. Kody didn't change. He doesn't speak to most of his children. Janelle's kids want nothing to do with him.